Hello everyone, this is Jacob Hopio, the producer of The Apex. In this episode, Jan and RJ sit down and discuss the pressure of success. They dive into if success is negative or positive. If you want to support us, there are two ways to do so. One is to donate to our cause at www.patreon.com/theapexpodcast. The other is completely free. All we ask is if you learn something from this episode or know someone that needs to hear our message, share it with them. Please subscribe and hope this pushes you toward your apex.
Welcome, Apex Chasers, to another episode of the Apex Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Jan Almasy, and seated across the table from me is my co-host and partner in crime, Mr. R.J. Holiday.
What's up, guys? How's it going?
I've decided to throw it up there.
You do a little different intro.
A little bit. Just give it a shot. I feel like I just do the same thing every single time, so like maybe I'll just start making voices
There
to
you
change
go.
everything up.
We can start our
I'll
voice
plug my
acting
nose.
careers.
Yeah, right. Yeah, then I'll become the
Actually,
next animated character in a Disney movie.
Actually, I'd love to do voice acting for something. That'd be just to say that I've done it.
You'd be The Rock. You'd be like the next version of The Rock
Mm.
that does the voice acting. Just big, beefy dude behind a mic for tiny
If Disney
little
ever produces
character.
a Polish character.
Little Polak. Little Polish mouse or something.
Yeah.
Oh, man. All right, guys. So today, RJ actually doesn't know what we're talking about quite yet.
Mm-mm.
Nope. I just told him that I wanted to sit down and record something because something hit me while I was at the gym that I think has been bugging me for a little while. Mostly because a lot of the podcasts I listen to, kind of address it, but I'm not sure if they really dive in deep. At least for our listeners, the types of people that have been listening to the Apex. So I want to talk about pressure. Yeah,
Like for your car tires?
No, I'm not talking about like PSI for your car tires or like how much you need to have inside of a cooker in order
Blood
to can your
pressure.
pickles.
I got it. I know what we're talking about now.
We're talking systolic over diastolic, son. You'd think, as a nurse, that might be...
He's concerned about me.
That's
He texted me in the middle of the night and said, the pressure. I was like, huh?
That's a probable thing, But no, I want to talk about the pressure of your goals once you start achieving them. Because I think that people talk about the pressure of what it's like on the rise up, but they don't talk about the pressure of like once you reach another tier of something, how much more pressure or responsibility you feel to those that are below that tier. Or, okay, you've achieved that goal. Now you have to maintain it and then hit the next one. And I figured that you could kind of talk to it, from a gym standpoint, and I'll kind of talk about it from whether it's a life standpoint for me or the podcast. And then we can kind of compare back and forth some notes. So what was hitting me in the gym last night is I picked up 8 hours of overtime on the surgical ICU. And I was working, and it just started to hit me how much I work full-time on top of military, on top of the podcast, and then whatever else we're trying to do. And then I was like, we're trying to stand up 2 new shows with John Dietz and then Tony McCune with We Heart Stark. So it's going to get even busier here.
Yeah.
And I'm excited about that. I'm unbelievably excited about that. And then inside of my head, everything started reeling, and I was like, I can barely keep up with working full-time now on top of the shows, on top of the military and everything else. What in the hell am I going to do? Well, we got 2 more shows that we're adding on.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like our goal at the beginning of this year was to start a podcast network. Now we're starting a podcast network, and we're like,
oh, shit.
oh, God, here we go.
Yeah.
So that pressure, when I ended up going to the gym, because that's kind of like my safe place. The gym and the chapel for me, right, are kind of the places that I go to clear my head. Yeah, or I vent to the iron.
Yes.
Which you've never done.
No.
I'm sure.
I've never lifted a weight a day in my life.
I really
What are you
doubt
talking
that
about?
you could relate to that at all.
Who's Jim?
But is that a guy?
Yeah, who's Jim?
Who are you hanging out with strange men at 1 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah, same thing for me. It's a place where you just kind of
let
let go. Yep.
Yeah. And so I went to the gym, and as I was going through my workout and stuff like that, it all kind of hit me where the pressure, you can either use it as a fire, like a fuel, or it can be completely debilitating.
Yeah.
And there's a balance. I have a tendency to be able to take that pressure and just stack it on my shoulders, stack it on my shoulders, stack it on my shoulders. I take my own pressure that I put on myself on top of like taking pieces of like your and Popio's pie to try to add it into mine.
Yeah.
Or I take part of like my sister's stress or some of the other people that I know in my life. I take parts of their stress and I stack on that pressure and I put that pressure on myself. It's like self-inflicted.
Yeah.
Where I'm trying to take care of all this other stuff. And then probably once every 5 or 6 months, my spine snaps in half.
You lose it.
And I go absolutely batshit crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And not on anybody, you know what I mean? But I just like implode.
Yeah.
And then I'm a hermit for
You have
like
a little
24
meltdown.
hours. Yeah, I just have like a mini
Have
meltdown.
a nice long cry on your way home.
Exactly. I was actually, I was sitting in the bed of my truck 2 weeks ago with a glass of bourbon on the phone with my girlfriend, bawling my eyes out. Probably 2 weeks ago, because I was like, this is happening and this is happening and it's all good things. I don't understand why I'm pissed. It's like, I'm not mad. I'm like happy about all of this.
Because you're overwhelmed.
But I was just absolutely distraught, right? And the biggest thing, I don't want people to think that my mentality is concrete 100% of the time because of sometimes the way that we talk on this show.
Yeah.
Right? I want people to understand that it's okay that you have those meltdowns every now and then. But what's not
I'm
okay...
a large advocate of a good cry.
A good meltdown?
Yeah, a good schmeltdown.
Yeah, that's so... But what happens is that if you stay in that meltdown period, that's when it gets toxic. The very next morning after I had that meltdown, I woke up feeling phenomenal and I was back at it. You know what I mean? Going after things. I was back at the gym. I had to work that day at the hospital. I was energetic. I was taking care of people.
You hit the reset button.
Right. But if I wouldn't have hit that reset button, I probably would have tweaked out or I'd have been really, really angry. So there's two things that I want to address with this concept, right? One is the type of person that never allows themselves to hit the reset button. And two is the type of person that their default is to try to hit the reset button whenever anything goes sideways.
Yeah, too often.
Right? So, I mean, I'm going to kind of, hand it over to you because I'm kind of curious what your mindset is on this. But we'll start with the people that never allow themselves to hit the reset button. Do you know anybody that's like that?
Plain and simply, it leaks into every part of your life then. If you don't let go, you start, and you're stressed out, you start, as much as you don't want to, you'll start taking out on others and people that you care about.
Right.
You're better off just kind of letting it go in one fell swoop and kind of getting it out of your system. And there are some people who just, think they got to be tough titties all the time and that you never allowed to show like, and I know of people who basically
I used to be like that. I still struggle with thinking.
Yeah, they basically told them like, my parents were like, crying is a sign of weakness and we just don't do that.
Right.
I'm like, well, I was always raised, you feel how you feel and there should be no reason why you should never be able to express that. If you're sad, cry. If you're happy, smile, laugh, have a good time. And that's how my parents raised me. And, I'll notice when I'm taking too much on that I'll be short. I'll be very...
You get stabby.
Yeah.
In the words of Jacob Pope.
Yeah, that is actually a very good description. Yeah, it's like someone says something to me and you just, shut up. And you're like, oh, I don't even know why I did that. And then you go home and you're like, well, I got this going on and that going on. You're stressed about this and stressed about that. And this person won't stop calling you. Navient won't stop sending you things about your student loans. So, and then it bleeds. It bleeds into other aspects of your life that you don't want it to, you don't expect it to, and it becomes problematic then. And then you start hurting people that you care about, and you're better off just, I take great pride in my family and my girlfriend and all that, then they know when I have my meltdowns and they're all there to, kind of hear me through it and listen to me. And then once it's out there in the open, I feel 100 times better. Like you said, I wake up like a brand new person the next day.
Yeah. You saw the light. You were baptized.
Yeah. You just put Limp Biskit on in your car and just have a good old cry.
Just let it go. Why Limp Biskit?
I don't know. A lot of his songs just ring true to a lot of stuff, man. You don't limp with the biscuit?
No, I do. I was just curious why out of all the genres.
Because that was the most recent cry, Jan.
Okay. Okay. Easy, killer. Easy. So, I mean, I 100% agree with that. I know a lot of people, I mean, between the military, nursing, you know, if you're a nurse and you don't break down at least once a year, you're probably going to end up as a functioning alcoholic. Like that's the amount, especially in the ICU. Like when working in the ICU, I remember it was within the first 3 months of my nursing career, I took care of a patient on the ICU that I was there when we pronounced neurological death. Right, young person, very young. I mean, I think that this patient was like in their teens. And so we pronounced neurological death. I had to help LifeBank draw lab values to do organ donation, all this other kind of stuff, and walk the family through that process. After that, those 12 hours, I sat in my truck for probably a good 20 minutes, and I couldn't see because my damn eye sprinklers were going.
In the immortal words of my friend Ian Cameron, you had the cry-alones.
I did. I
had
did.
a good old session of the cry-alones.
Ian Cameron. That's Noodles, right?
Yeah, that's Noodles.
Okay.
Yeah, just call him Noodles from now on. Now that we know we've established who that is, yeah.
Okay. I like always forget his name.
Well,
it's either
I
Noodles
told
or
him
Discount Jesus.
I told him to the day he dies, even his wife will call him Noodles, and I'll make sure it carries on. His kids will call him Noodles, the whole shebang.
You have my word that I will assist you on that venture.
He hates me for it, but he also loves me for it.
We love you, Noodles. So just sitting in that truck, but the very next day I was scheduled to work, right? So I had to come back the next day and do it all over again.
Compose yourself.
You have to. And so that's where I kind of think the balance is. I wanted to use that shift analogy to kind of talk about the people that hit the button way too often. Because obviously, I mean, I had to try to hold my crap together for that 12 hours, right? Because you have to be able to empathize with the people that you're taking care of. And at that point, I was taking care of the family as well. And so for that short period of time, I had to muffle.
Yeah.
Right? Shove all my emotions down into the pit of my stomach, leave them there for 12 hours. Now, if you do that for 12 years,
then it becomes a problem.
Then that's probably not positive, right? But for
You
12 hours, you can handle that. You, as much as you think that you need to go sit in the closet and cry or sit and cuss something out or, whatever else.
Why the closet?
I don't know.
When hid in my closet. No, we don't recommend that.
Like Harry Potter. Hiding
under the stairs. He wasn't hiding. He was forced to live there. Did you even watch the movies?
I read all the books. I've watched.
He did not actively choose. Yes, I'll take the room under the stairs.
They locked him in there.
That's what. But you said he chose to live there. He did not. That was punishment.
Oh man. Man, I love these sidetracks are just getting better and better and better.
I'm great at it.
As we slowly make sure you don't unplug that.
I didn't.
Okay, the better we get as hosts, the more relaxed we get. I feel it's just when we first did this Squirrel Woman on Vanessa Oswald's show, I was like, and at this point I'm just like, nah.
This is what the people want. It's provocative.
I haven't heard that song in forever. I forget where we were going.
Basically, we just want to flip to the other side of
the people that reset too much.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people, and I saw this in nursing school a lot, where it's just one thing goes sideways, and you're like, blah, and everything.
Well, it's every other day.
Yeah, and then
I stubbed my toe.
And then people get tired of it. You know what I mean? Then you start to have that cried wolf syndrome and stuff like that. And then if crap is actually going sideways and you're complaining about it, people aren't going to pay as much attention because they're like, meh.
Yeah, it's been every other day with you for the last 3 years.
Right, you've thought you've had brain cancer 5 different times in the last month because you Googled headache symptoms and now you think you're having a stroke.
You're just dehydrated there, guy.
Right, yeah, drink some water, stop drinking coffee, and bang. But what do you know of any remedies or like any ways that you've encountered people that push that reset button too often and stuff like that, ways that they can try to help strengthen that mentality over a period of time?
I think people, I think everybody kind of gets into those. I definitely had bouts of my life where it was just like, I felt like I was complaining all the time. And when I started realizing, like, not that the things that I was going through or other people are going through are any less important than the issues that other people have, but the best way to remedy that kind of stuff is to be able to put yourself in, as best as you can, put yourself in other people's shoes. Yeah, your day might be ruined, but maybe the guy next to you just lost a loved one, or, just lost their job, or, like in your case, somebody in the hospital.
You could have two separate patients, and one patient's getting discharged out of the one room that you're taking care of, and the other patient just found out they have terminal illness.
Yeah, and so you don't know what other people are experiencing or what they're going through. So anytime I would find myself overly complaining or freaking out about something, I would just think like to myself, yeah, this sucks, but I don't know what the people who are hearing me complain about this stuff are also going through. You don't want to. I'm never someone who wants to hurt someone's feelings or diminish someone else's feelings for my own sake.
Right.
So my big thing was, by me complaining about me stubbing my toe on the cocktail table this morning and it hurting really bad, how is that going to make someone feel who has a more legitimate reason to be freaking out than I do? And then to see them not shedding a tear about it, holding themselves together, putting themselves together in the morning to go to work or go to class or get themselves in the gym when that's literally the last thing that they want to do, and I'm over here making excuses about something minuscule but blowing it way out of proportion.
Right. I say there's actually Ryan Koblentz's episode that we recorded does a great job of highlighting that, and he actually used that as motivation during his prep. His dad had cancer and everything, getting up, going to work, doing his thing, and all he has to do is go to the gym, and he was like, I have no excuses. Yeah. Because this man is getting up and kicking butt all day, every day.
For the sake of his own life.
And there's also a dichotomy there, right? And I love these kind of splits where, yes, comparing yourself to other people's pain, or not comparing, I guess, empathizing with other people's pain is a great way to kind of put yours into a box and figure out where you're leveled out at. Yeah. But that can also snowball really, really quickly, where it could be like, oh, don't worry that you got into a car wreck. Like, you had a car in the first place. There's starving kids in Africa. You know what I mean? Like,
that's an extreme.
That can go to a huge extreme. And I just want to caution people on that, where that is also...
There's a degree in which you can see the glass half full, people.
Right. And so, like, that person that crashed the car, they may not have an additional income. That vehicle was the reason they could get to work. That may be the worst thing that's ever happened in their life to them. Yeah. And I talk about that, too, in earlier episodes, where if someone's feeling pressure, which is what this entire episode is about, they're feeling pressure because they're moving up that chain. They're moving to the next goal, and they're starting to feel pressure. Please, for the love of everything, do not look at that person and say, what do you have to complain about? Everything in your life is going great.
It's all relative.
That's what really has been getting to me a lot in the last month, 2 months. Like, yeah, everything seems like it's picking up. I'm working with Mark Leach now. We're picking up clients with...
I like that. The house phone ringtone.
We still have a house phone. Isn't that crazy?
Too, somehow.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Wow. It's for my grandpa. He refuses to call anyone's cell phones. It's basically it should just be a 1-to-1 landline between my house and my grandpa's house for my mom. Pretty much.
Nice. But so we're working with all these cool people, right? Looking at getting actual studio space. We're moving up the chain and everything, and people will be anytime I try to vent about something outside of a very select few group of people,
Mhm.
and I really try not to vent to a whole lot of people outside of just a very select group. Obviously, now I'm kind of venting to the microphone, and we're going to be
Yeah.
broadcasting this out. But it's because I want other people to feel like they can have the ability to talk about it too.
Yeah.
You can talk. You should be able to talk to other people about things that are relative and in your life that you're finding difficulty with, and please, other people, please, for the love of everything, have empathy to that person
Mhm.
that they may be going through something difficult, even if it's all positive.
Mhm.
Positive stress is still stress.
Yeah.
It may not be de-stress, but it is still considered stress. That's why you have people like Anthony Bourdain. You have people like Robin Williams.
Yeah.
You have people that were on top of the world, everybody loved, you know what I mean, that have, whether it's issues mentally, physically, addiction-wise, there's a deep root to what that is, and you can sometimes just listening to somebody and allowing them to feel heard without being judged for you're successful
Yeah.
can be life-changing.
And that's those. I've always been. It goes back to someone who's just really difficult on themselves. They expect a lot
Right.
out of themselves, and you don't. I mean, everybody sets their bar at a different standard or a different height, and you don't know unless you know that person very well. So my parents know when I'm stressed out about something, good or bad, that it's most likely I am being the hardest critic on myself. It's
Right.
like the last bodybuilding show that I did. I didn't do as well as I wanted to, and the months
That was the
after
one down
the
in
gym,
Columbus?
yeah,
Right.
the months after that gym, I was just infuriated with myself. And then it comes to come to terms with maybe I should have done this better, that better, and then you hear things like, well, maybe it wasn't all your fault, but the one
Right.
judge had a horse in the race in your weight class. And then you, for no reason, you're beating yourself down like you think you haven't done enough.
Right.
So it's just I stress myself out more than anything else can stress me out.
Oh, I feel that 100%.
Yeah.
And that's what I think that a lot of people that are these really high-paced, motivated individuals put a lot of that stress on themselves.
Mhm.
They put that pressure there.
Yeah.
And it's something that, I've kind of had on my gut to talk
Mhm.
about for a little while because I've been trying to figure ever since we kind of started picking up steam with the podcast and we started expanding and
Yeah.
adding more people on and we're starting to talk about new shows and everything else. I was like, how in the world do I talk about the pressure that somebody feels when they start gaining more successful momentum?
Yeah.
And it's that eustress versus de-stress, and then giving people permission to press the reset button,
Yeah.
telling them not to press the reset button too much. All the concepts that we kind of addressed in the last 20-something minutes here are all things that have been just kind of running through my mind
Yeah.
that I was really, really wanting to get out
Yeah.
to these listeners.
The more when you're stressed in this way, the more you communicate to the people around you that is what's going on instead of just holding it in, the better you'll feel and the better the situation as a whole will be. Because if those people like Jan, like Jake, like my family, like my girlfriend, like my friends, if they know I'm stressed out about stuff, they'll take it easier on me or try to help.
Right.
But if you just hold it all in and you're being mean and nasty to them, then they're going to help less. And
Right.
then it just becomes a cyclical event of things just getting more and more stressful and you putting more and more pressure on yourself. I feel the best when I've laid it all out there to the people that are around me. They know what's going on. They know why I'm stressed. And then, it's a give and take at that point where they try to, I wouldn't say so much burden part of my stress, but they don't throw extra shit on top to make things worse.
Right.
Which
Well, and that's the thing.
might-
If you don't tell anybody something's wrong or something's
How are they
making you
gonna know?
agitated, and then somebody does something that really pisses you off,
they're going to have no clue.
Yeah, how are they supposed to know that the reason why you put them through a piece of drywall because they didn't hand you the tissue box in the right way?
Yeah. But that could all be just build up stuff from months that they had no clue about.
Right.
Communication is key. in all aspects of your life.
I think that's what everything kind of boils down. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Finding a core group like between you, Popio, Mike Eversole with Envision Clothing, and like my sister Helena.
Mm-hmm.
Those people are the ones that I know I can look at and be like, "Yo, it's going sideways inside my head
I need
right
some
now.
help.
Yeah, I need an adult."
Yeah.
But I'm not saying to go out and tell everybody that.
No.
You know what I mean? You need to make sure that you're selective with those people that you trust and everything. And if you ain't got nobody that you can trust, shoot us a DM.
Yeah, we'll listen to you guys. We
Yeah.
want to.
Talk to us.
Whole reason we started this is we want to help as many people in as many ways as we can.
Amen to all of that. Right. So if you've got some stuff that you've got going on and you want to talk to the big man himself seated across the table, me
I'm all ears.
or Jacob Popio, that's 6 ears total right there.
I'm a little deaf.
That
I
gets-
give myself like 1.5 ears.
Okay, so 5
I'm
and a
just
half
hard.
years.
I'm hard of hearing.
5.5 years that are willing to listen to you. All right, but
We
You
hope
know,
this
that's-
helped you guys.
Yeah.
A little bit, I mean, if anything, a little bit of maybe more understanding of someone that's going through something like this, or even yourself. There's been a lot of times in my life where I've looked in the mirror and been like, I do not know why I am the way I am or why I feel the way that I feel.
amen.
Until you look it up and, out of nowhere you hear someone else talking about it and you're like, wow, that lines up perfectly with the way that I'm feeling, the way that I'm acting.
Yep.
So we hope this
if
helped.
anything out of this, realize you're not alone.
Absolutely.
That's all I'm saying. All right, guys. So if you want to support the Apex Podcast, go to www.theapexpodcast.com / No, wait, no. Hold on. www.patreon.com / the Apex Podcast. If you want to check out the website's theapexpodcast.com. That you can find the blog there and all the other shenanigans that we got going on.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, I can't believe that I just spaced out and totally derped that up.
Oh, well.
Nah.
They know. They know by now.
Yeah, they accept us for who we are. So, patreon.com / the Apex Podcast. You can follow us on Instagram @ _ the Apex Podcast _ with that Patreon campaign, if you donate $5 a month, we will send you a sticker and a handwritten letter.
Ooh.
And you also get a shout out
On the show.
on the show. So that all of that kind of goes to helping us, buy equipment, be able to provide you the highest quality sound, and then also go on trips and find cool people to interview.
Oh, yeah. And
So-
like we kind of mentioned here earlier in the podcast, look for our other work that's coming out. We're going to be pumping out a lot of content here soon. And we hope that, a lot of our listeners from this spread inward and outward from this show to our other shows that we're trying to bring to you guys. So we're really excited and we're really working hard over here.
All righty, guys. Well, we will catch you on the flip side. And until then, keep chasing that Apex.